Hello everyone, Jak Syn here on behalf of Fiend.com and Future Daze, and today we're sitting with Faith in the Glitch of NIGHT.Wav, San Junipero, and Twitch. How you doing today, Faith?
I'm doing pretty well, just basking in the timelessness and meaningless of time now that we're in the situation we're in.
That is very true. I mean, trying to stay as busy as we can, right?
Ironically, I'm more busy now than I have been previously.
That's great. That's great to hear. Like a lot of people out there right now, you included for sure, are definitely having a lot more things on their plate now that they're at home. I'm sure there's a lot of projects that you're working on at the moment.
Oh yeah, for sure. Before the apocalypse, for lack of a less grandiose term, I was doing the synthwave streams on Twitch, but wasn't really able to, well, didn't stream on weekends because of NIGHT.Wav and San Junipero and all the gigs and fun stuff that we used to do. But now that what happened, now I've got weekends free in a weird kind of bass-backwards way. So I've been able to do that. So I've been streaming Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. It's a lot.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, it's going great. From what I'm seeing, it's going great. Like everything you're putting out, great stuff, dude.
It's also been really nice to help other artists facilitate their online streaming presences. A lot of collaborations are being born out of this too. I'm streaming and working with NIGHT.FM on their Twitch channel, YouTube channel, and all that, DJing for them. And they're in my channel helping me out. And then we have people like Magic Sword, who are now the Keepers DJing semi-frequently, and just helping facilitate live streams for a lot of people in the synthwave community.
I mean, isn't it great how fast that we have adapted, you know, with using these live streams and using social media to our advantage? Like as far as entertainment is concerned, it's like all of these artists and DJs and producers, they're really taking advantage of that digital platform now.
Yeah, was it the Turbo Drive San Francisco guys at the DNA Lounge Danny DeLorean's putting together, those cats are putting together a pretty rad live stream from their venue. And so it's really turning that frown upside down and delivering stuff for people to do while we have nothing else to do.
That is very true. And it's just great to see all of that. And you know what? Thank you so much for taking this time today to sit with us. And we're going to ask you a few questions. Are you ready to get into it?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this. What are your top 3 moments performing live?
I would say one of my most personal fulfilling performances was the first time I ever performed with all my own material. It was the scariest and most nervous I'd been, and trying to figure out how I can perform my content. And this is before I got any hardware other than my DJ gear. Really imposter syndrome, dealing with all this stuff. Like, is it whack if I just DJ my own songs? Is that enough? And I was like, well, whatever. I was opening for Danger with my friend Destroyer, and I just decided, you know, I'm booked for it and I'm not going to buy a bunch of stuff. So I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to do as much as I can, like DJ trickery and different tricks and stuff to keep my hands busy as I can. And going through that performance, the crowd was super receptive and really awesome, and definitely was one of my more memorable events. And then the first time that we did NIGHT.Wav in LA at Echoplex, that was the first time we did it, was Dance with the Dead. And you were there, obviously, you remember. Hitting that stage, 1, opening for your heroes, which is insane. 2, going across the country to perform is also still mind-blowing. And then showing up, like, well, we've all done shows where you don't know if it's going to be cool, and there's like, 10, 15 people, and you have a great time, and that's fun. That's in the back of my mind. I'm always expecting that. That's the baseline. 10 people, you're gonna have a good time, gonna be awesome. Show up on stage and it's sold out. It's like 500 plus people, and there's part of you in your mind that's thinking like, are they here for this? Is there some sort of mistake? No, dude, they're here for Dance with the Dead, but you also get to be there too. So the receptiveness of LA and that, and being able to get to go there. I've only been there one time beforehand. My wife took me on a tour of her homeland, but being able to be there for doing music and what you love with people you love, that was super cool. And similarly, and the same token was the first NIGHT.Wav. So the first NIGHT.Wav was in New York City at St. Vitus Bar, legendary metal bar, where it has been our home now for almost 3 years. And it was the first one. So I met Samuel Valentine, the boss man, the orchestrator of NIGHT.Wav, and then later San Junipero. I met at Carpenter Brute show, where I thought he looked cool and was basically like, hey, you look cool. You want to be friends? And he's like, okay, sure. So he's like, I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I'm a party promoter. He's like, what do you do? I'm a synthwave DJ. What? So then a couple months later, NIGHT.Wav happened. And I was doing visuals, like live visuals for an anime convention the day before in New Jersey. So I left that, drove to go to Brooklyn. And like I said, with the previous one, is like, I never actually played synthwave in a like real venue for live people before. I just done it on Twitch, and it was a lot of fun. I was like learning how to do it and the ins and outs, and for a dozen people on Twitch. So I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go. People gonna like this like esoteric niche genre that I've been like really into mostly on the internet? We'll see. So I show up, I'm like, probably good 10, 20 people in my mind is what I'm expecting. That'd be awesome. I go to park, and there is a line practically around the block, and just in complete disbelief, like, oh man, there must have been a really popular show before NIGHT.Wav. I wonder who was playing. Like, drag all my gear out of the car, and I was like, hey, what band are you guys here to see? Like, oh, we're here for NIGHT.Wav. Really? All right, cool. And just another night of really awesome people who are just very receptive to the whole Jak Syn thing. And yeah, just close my eyes and think about those 3 times. Anytime you're like, the dark thoughts enter, you're like, those are pretty good days.
Those are great memories. Like, those are great experiences. I mean, of course, I wasn't there for the very first NIGHT.Wav in New York City, and I wasn't there at the show, the Destroyer show that you were talking about, where you were playing your own material. But that NIGHT.Wav LA show, you were right on the money. That was my first time. You know what I mean? Being able to DJ this style of music with you guys, coming out here from New York City. So being able to do that with you guys was just, holy crap, this was like amazing. The energy that night was just, it was, at times it felt kind of overwhelming, but you were kind of like going, okay, well, you know what, I got this, trust in my abilities, and we'll get through this. But I tell you, you that night on that stage, you were just giving it to the audience and they were eating it all up.
It was a beautiful symbiosis.
Yeah, by the way, guys, everybody out there, Faith over here has some really amazing dance moves. So if you get a chance to see those in action, okay, you're gonna want more of that. I'll tell you right now. I mean, the guy puts some sizzle out there. He's the kind of guy that will start taking his shirt off and will run out into the audience and break dance in the middle of the audience. and jumps back up on stage right before the next track's on. Definitely amazing. What would you say is your favorite album / EP that you've worked on?
So I really only have one release that was officially done, and that's the Church of Broken Data, and available on all platforms. But that one was an amalgam of tracks that I like to say I was beta testing at NIGHT.Wav. I would work on a song and then play it and then really study the audience. Like, are they gonna go get drinks? Are they still dancing? Are they dancing less? Are they dancing more? And then I noticed that there's parts where like some people would go get drinks, or maybe it didn't go off as well as I thought it would when I was listening to it on my DAW at home. So you come home and retool those. So over the course of about 2 years of doing that process, I developed the tracks that later went into being an album. But I would say when I first started working on those tracks, they weren't specifically designed to be part of like a concept album. They're just stuff I was working on, but I sat on them forever because, you know, you're playing Carpenter Brut and Ghost and all these like S tier super amazing artists, and then you go home and you work on your own stuff and you're like, oh, this isn't that good, is it? Oh, I'm terrible. If I put this out, then everyone will know I'm a sham. Oh no, oh no. And finally, I was just like, it was after the Danger show, I performed only those tracks that have been basically living on my hard drive. And people are like, "Well, when's that coming out? Is that on Spotify?" I'm like, "Well, no, they just live on my hard drive. I haven't put them out yet." I'm like, "Put them out!" So that gave me the impetus to finally like, all right, finish these things, put it out into the world, and then that'll be done. You can work on the next thing. But the reception to it's been pretty awesome, and my mom listens to it she learned how to put music on her phone and then get it to play in her car. That's how you know that you've done a good release, if your mom can get over technical hurdles that some people have. So that was a nice experience.
That's very true. I mean, I've heard the music. I think it's pretty solid. I love it. It's really good stuff. And you know, for you to be able to play it live, like being able to do that, like your own personal music, because you're coming from being a DJ and playing a lot of other people's stuff, like for you to be able to play that live, like what did that feel like at that moment for you?
So when you play someone else's track, that's really dope, and you brought it in a cool way, and you get the energy back from the crowd. That feels awesome. You're in the moment. It feels good. When you play something that you made, it's something you spent weeks, years, months, hours, blood, sweat, tears, a lot of uncertainty. Everybody has those feelings. And when you blend it in and you look out in the crowd and then they get hyped, like even more hyped, you know that like all this time and effort that you spent on something wasn't a waste of time. You know, it's humbling and also validating at the same time. It makes you feel really good about yourself and humbled that like people are vibing to your stuff. It's a uplifting and soul enriching experience that has been second to almost no other experience that I've had in my life.
That is a very great way of describing it. I know, I mean, when you're performing music live, like, for when I perform music live, like that's, at first you kind of go, oh my God, I don't know. When you first start, you go, I don't know if people are going to receive this, or they're going to like it, whatever, but then you get to that point where you go, fuck it. I'm just going to do it because you know what? I love it. So it's great that you're doing that stuff. And it's great that people are really receptive to it and they really enjoy it. What was the drive behind getting you into making music and DJing?
So I started DJing and making music around the same time. And when I started both, catastrophically bad at both. But I started around 1999. and I saw a DJ who's super not synthwave, but I saw a DJ called DJ Venom, who is from Rhode Island and is a hardstyle DJ and one of the most skilled, technically proficient DJs I still have seen. Well, I went to see one of the first raves I went to, saw this guy perform. He was going great. That I had been accumulating for, I don't know, maybe a couple of years. Because I used to, when I was in high school, I used to lie to my parents and tell them that the school lunch cost like $1.50, $2 more than it actually did. And then I'd pocket the $2 and squirrel that away in like almost entirely in change. And so I had been to like some other parties before. So I kind of thought I had the whole like maybe being a DJ thing would be pretty cool. But after seeing Venom, I was like, next day, I went to Mars Music, which is now defunct, but came in with a backpack of quarters, plunked it on the table, like, give me a pair of Stanton turntables. And they were really happy about that. Very glad that so they were very glad for my patronage that day. Yeah, and then I've been just DJing various types of music, still kind of always dancey on the kind of more aggressive side of stuff, but yeah, DJing ever since.
That's actually great because like you took a whole like sack of change to buy turntables. That's amazing. I don't think I've ever known anybody who's actually done something like that.
It's one of my more dick moves, but you got to do what you got to do. It was all rolled though. It wasn't just a backpack of loose change.
I mean, that's how I see it in my head. It's like this giant sack of change going, here you go, buddy. I need my turntables.
Get out of our store.
No, but it's good that you rolled it. I mean, at least you're doing your part, right?
Yeah, I knew that there was a threshold that they would tolerate. A loose change would be the beyond that.
It's amazing to hear that was your inspiration. So DJ Venom. I've never really personally been exposed to DJ Venom, but I'm sure now I'm gonna have to check him out now.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to accomplishing the most moving forward?
So the continuation of NIGHT.Wav and San Junipero, increasing our production value and doing newer and crazier fun things with that. Definitely always looking forward to those things. Maybe trying out in different cities, expanding, that's always cool. But personally, for projects that just involve faith in the glitch, I'm looking forward to expanding the live performance of my own original material. I acquired some hardware to do that, an Akai Force, a standalone Nito toy. Toys are always fun. And I purchased that a couple months ago, and I was able to do one show with it, but I expressly bought it to open for Starcadian, Primo the Alien, Tokyo Rose, and Zarina, that show. And that was actually the first show I had be canceled. So I'm ready when we're able to book shows again. Been practicing new stuff, new tricks, whole new Faith in the Glitch live show, ready to go, jump out of the gate. So I'm excited about cultivating that and doing version 2 and bringing in some other live performers to do their thing with me and really pushing that forward. And then, as always, working on new original material and then collaborating with a lot more artists than I had previously, because I just did a scratching for a track with Destroyer. So I did a fresh collab, and that's a lot of fun. So I want to really push that forward as well.
That's great. I can't wait to see that stuff live. And you never know, maybe you'll start going on a tour, you know, like Faith the Glitch goes on tour, you know what I mean?
With Jak Syn.
Oh, I'm totally down for that. That'd be totally rad. Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and I noticed you have something familiar you're wearing there. Oh,
Actually, you gave me this, I think, at that first NIGHT.Wav in LA.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yes, I did. And that, it makes me so happy that you're wearing that shirt right now.
Of course.
And I know it's not to butter me up at all, but
not gonna lie, maybe a little bit.
well, thank you for that. What positive message would you give your fans out there?
I would say, specifically, like when it comes to working on your own material, your own art, you can really sabotage yourself by worrying about if it is a certain kind of thing or if other people will like it. My friend DJ Cutman said, you should like your own art, but you don't have to love it for it to be enjoyed by others. It doesn't have to be perfect for other people to find value in it and to help them in their own journeys. So I would say if you're sitting on stuff or unsure if you should or shouldn't release it, you can never tell how important it could be to someone else until you put it out there. So I would encourage people to, whatever it is you're working on, as Look Mum No Computer would say, don't be scared to try it.
You're exactly right there. I mean, if you have something that you love and you have an inkling to want to share it with the world, don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to take that leap, because if you don't do it, you're gonna probably just end up thinking to yourself, God, what would it have been like if I had done that?
And was it Adventure Time where they said sucking at something is just the first step of being sort of good at something? You got to put the thing out before you can put out the next thing, which could be great.
That is very true. That right there is very true. I mean, you're gonna have moments where you're going to, you know, your first ride out of the gate, it's probably not going to be the best, but at least you're out of the gate. You know what I mean? And the next time, the time after that, it's just going to get better and better and better. But you just got to keep pushing it. You just got to keep working at it. That's just the way it is. That's the way you play the game. That's life. But thank you so much for taking this time today to sit with us, Faith. I want to say thank you to everybody out there who took this time to tune in today and sit with us and watch us conversate. To everybody, be sure to like and subscribe to the Fiend YouTube page. We have more videos on the way. Thank you so much again, Faith, and we're going to see you next time, right?
Absolutely, dude.
All right, man. I look forward to it. Can't wait till we get all of this done with so we can get back to doing NIGHT.Wav and San Junipero.
Hell yeah.
You have a good one, all right?
You as well, my friend.